Hello, I'm Carl Latham and I'm the simulation developer for SimSig Cardiff, which is part of the Wales and Borders simulations. Now, the Cardiff simulation has some unusual features in route setting between the Taft workstation, which looks after Cardiff Central 6 and 7, and the West workstation, which looks after Cardiff Central platforms 0 to 4. First of all, we will talk about the routes on the Taft panel which are slotted by the West workstation. We'll then move on to talk about routes which start on the Taft workstation and end on the West workstation, and vice versa, and then we will briefly touch on the Leckwith chord. Now, as you can see, we've got 2 Victor 29 in Cardiff Central Platform 7. The platform staff has told us that the train is ready to start, and we're going to route that out towards Radda. Now, you will see the route that has set wholly within this workstation, and the driver now has a green signal to proceed. So this route doesn't need any intervention at all from the West panel signaller, and it can be set by the Taft panel signaller when he or she wishes to. Now, while that train trundles through the throat of Cardiff Central and out over the West Junction, we will talk a little bit about 5 Tango 30. Now, this train needs to go from the Up Barry Relief and end up in Cardiff Central Platform 6. And to do this, it will head along the Up Barry Relief towards the C Divide, and then we will move across to the West workstation. It will come out on the C Divide there, head along the line across to the B Divide, and then we will end up back at Cardiff Central, travelling on the Up Barry line. Now, in real life, there was a slot for routes which started on the Taft panel and ended on the Taft panel that cut through the West workstation, and this is accurately shown in the sim here, with the red roundel telling us that the slot hasn't been given. Now, in real life, the Taft panel and West panel signallers stood next to each other at the panel. We have added one feature to SimSig for multiplayer use that allows the Taft panel signaller to request the slot, so his colleague on the West panel can see exactly what's going on. If you're playing this in single player, there's no need to press the request button at all. You can just skip to the next step. Now, across on the West workstation, the requested roundel is flashing, and we right click on the we left click on the free roundel, and you will note that the light has begun flashing, and that advises us that the slot has been given but has not yet been used. So if we right clicked on the free roundel at this point, we could take the slot back without causing an adverse change of aspect. So back on the Taft workstation, you'll see the corresponding slot roundel is flashing white, and we're now free to set our route by clicking on the entry signal and clicking on the exit signal, and you'll note the route is set in its entirety, and the signal has cleared to a yellow once all the points have set and detected. Now, as 5 Tango 30 moves off, you will note the slot drops back to red. We're playing this tutorial with Tor on, so as soon as the route dropped out from signal 323, the slot dropped back to red. If you are playing with Tor off, this will happen when you cancel the spent route from signal 323. Across on the West workstation, you will see the indications have changed. The red roundel advises that the slot is no longer given, and the white flashing roundel shows that the slot has been used, and you can take it back by right clicking. And back on the Taft workstation, 5 Tango 30 has safely arrived in Cardiff Central Platform 6. Now becomes 2 Tango 30 and trundles off on its way to Radda. So this slot is needed for any route which starts on the TAF workstation and ends on the TAF workstation but travels via the C and B divide across the West workstation, and that is routes from signals 323, 639 and 645. Now we'll talk a little bit about other half routes. Now there are routes from the TAF panel that end on the West panel and vice versa. Now we have 6 Juliet 41, which is a on-track machine which is heading to Upper B CE sidings just outside of Carlisle after finishing work in a possession. Now this train will need to travel along the Up Barry Relief and head into Cardiff Central Station. It's been platformed in Cardiff Central Platform 2, where there will be a crew change. So on the TAF panel we set the route towards the E divide, and over on the West panel 6 Juliet 41 appears in the approach berth on the E divide, and then the signaller on the West panel clicks on his red entry arrow for the half route and presses the exit signal in platform 2. If we then switch back to the switch back to the TAF panel, 6 Juliet 41 now has a proceed aspect. So just to quickly recap on that, any routes from the TAF panel towards the West panel, the TAF panel signaller clicks on his relevant entry signal and presses the grey exit triangle to set his half of the route. Back across on the West workstation, the West signaller clicks his red entry arrow and presses his exit signal. The red entry arrow turns white just to advise you that the route has been set. If we head back on the TAF panel, you'll see the train has passed the signal's reverted and it's on its way into Cardiff Central. And this applies as well if the signaller on the West workstation wanted to set a route towards the TAF panel, clicks the entry signal, we'll interpose a fake train description just to illustrate it, and then across on the TAF panel the description appears and the TAF panel signaller simply sets his half of the route as needed and the entry arrow turns white. So we'll just cancel that route off. Now one more thing to talk about in this, you will notice the G divide on the up Leckwith branch down, and you will notice the same corresponding G divide on the TAF panel. Now the up Leckwith branch down is not slotted with half routes. If the TAF panel sets a route, it sets the route all the way up to signal 520 on the West workstation, and conversely if the West workstation sets the route, it sets the route right up to signal 305. So these aren't half routes. Now on the F divide you will note that you can only use this in one direction. You can only use it in the up direction, you can't use it in the down direction. Hopefully that helps you with the slots and half routes in Cardiff.